first we hijacked people's attention. Second, we hijacked the industry. Then we hijacked investor capital. Now we're hijacking the capital markets. And next we're gonna hijack the central banks. And we're going all the way until every central bank and every government and every corporation on this entire effing planet owns Bitcoin.
Simple as that.
Yeah, simple as that, yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Bitcoin Magazine podcast. My name is Brandon Green, I'm the host. With me today, the one and only David Bailey, founder of BTC Inc. This is kind of a special show for a few reasons. Obviously, we're early on in the show, but David has been my mentor for 8.5 years now, got me into Bitcoin in the first place, now is CEO of Nakamoto. And so why don't you give a quick intro, explain what's going on, and take us through a little bit of the past 6 months.
It always scares me when you say that I'm a mentor. It's like the blind leading the blind. So first off, congratulations to you. I'm guessing by the time this airs, it'll be public that you're the new CEO.
That's true, yeah.
Okay. I'm excited for him. I'm scared.
Well, okay, let's start there, all right? You've run BTC Inc. for 14 years, 13 years. This is your baby. You launched it out of college.
It's a dictatorship.
Yeah. How does it feel to be sort of, I mean, obviously we're all still in the family, but how does it feel to be transitioning to focus on Nakamoto and handing off BTC to someone else?
Mixed.
Yeah.
You know, in one sense, it's like, we've built a great business. The business has so many problems, has so many things that need to be fixed. And so in some senses, it's like, sayonara. Go fix those problems, get to work, you know? So in the other sense, it's like, I love that business, don't fuck it up. You know, you've built a good business. And so you've grown a lot, you've been as successful as we've needed you to be at the business, and I think you're gonna do a good job. So now the rest is up to you to prove that. I will say, you know, it is reassuring that this year, being focused on Nakamoto, basically since November of last year, I've been 100% focused on Nakamoto with just the slightest touch to BTC Inc. And this has been our best year financially ever. And really all of our KPIs are at all-time highs, attendance all-time high, biggest conference we've ever done, biggest reach we've ever had, most revenue we've ever booked, most profitable by a long shot. So I've been doing an okay job. So it is nice to, the flip side is that it's scary to leave you guys in charge and trust y'all not to burn the place down.
The inmates are running the asylum a little bit.
But it's also the ultimate success is when, if y'all can actually run it, it has its own trajectory and life and can thrive, and it's like a parent letting their kid go off into the world. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's the way to explain it.
That's fair.
I will still be on the board. I do ultimately still control the money. Okay?
Still my boss.
So don't forget that.
Yeah.
So we've never really had at BTC Inc. a lot of resources to work with. It's always been a bootstrap company. From the very beginning, it was we had to self-fund off of sponsorship sales and revenue. And now we're at this place in time with the business where, even though we have to be very frugal and good stewards of our capital,
we have capital.
Yeah, we have unlimited capital. And so it opens up a world of possibilities of what do we want to get done and what's the vision? How big is the market? If we could go as big as we possibly could go, what does that even look like? And I think that's the challenge and the exciting opportunity that y'all have is to look at the world through that light and swing for the fences.
Well, and it's also the lens that you get to look at for Nakamoto, right? And so, at the same time, we're playing the same song in different ways, but tell me how your mindset is.
I'd say the one difference is that BTC Inc. is an operating company. It's got, 130 employees or something like that?
Yep.
It's got functional teams that do things. If you spun up a new product and you wanted to sell it, we have probably the best sales team in the entire industry who can go and turn around and sell that.
Yeah.
If you want to launch a new product, you have the production people you need, you have the financial planning people you need. So you're better positioned to go pursue these opportunities. Where at Nakamoto, we're trying to keep an extremely lean organization And so, when you're 15 people, you don't have the ability to say, okay, like, let's like pivot into this and slap this onto the business. Like Nakamoto is more like an aircraft carrier, and like we can like tweak the direction, but like there's so much momentum with the aircraft carrier, it's got to go in that direction. Whereas y'all are more like, a destroyer or a submarine or something that's like, able to like swerve more radically, let's say. So
yeah, well, so walk me through. We're like 6 months in at least kind of to the Nakamoto experience, right?
I'd say 3 months. We 3 fake months and 3 real months.
Yeah. Nakamoto has launched. There's so much of a process of kind of creating a public treasury company, and just due to sort of the timing of it, Nakamoto is very much like in the front of the line, both good and bad, of kind of everything that has happened with the treasury companies. So tell me, like, what has that been like? What are some of the quickest, easiest lessons you've learned, and then maybe some of the hardest lessons you've learned too?
Well, first off, as much as it sucks, it's the only way it could be, because while maybe no one would acknowledge this, like outside of Sailor, we seeded this whole thing. I mean, we've been doing this. We were backing treasury companies for 18 months now. I think we've invested into more deals than any other investor in the world. We have, many hundreds of millions of dollars of exposure to the sector, which is a lot of capital for us. When you're pioneering things, like when it's good, it's great. And when it's bad, you take it on the chin. It's like, we have a saying at the business, when it rains, it pours. And so it's just like, and, of course that's going to be our experience, because we're like pioneering the way. What's been good, what's been bad? I mean, I would say first off, it's hard to run a public company. I mean, maybe that should be duh, but, I've been in the investor shoes for so long that you feel like you know what the day-to-day is like, because you underwrite all these different treasury companies. But from the perspective of being in the operator issuer, chair, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and there's a lot more uncertainty, and the stakes feel much higher than being an investor, because an investor, it's an investment. It's one of many. An operator, it's one of one. It's the whole, Kubota. I don't even know what the saying is, but
Yeah.
So, what I've also learned through this process is that everyone has opinions, but very few people actually know what they're talking about. And so there's some comfort that comes from that, though, because when you're new to something and you're trying to get your sea legs, you can have a lot of self-doubt about, okay, do I know what I'm doing? Am I doing the right thing? Like, do I have a lack of experience in this or that or whatever? And then when you realize, like, since our merger closed, I mean, I've probably had 200 phone calls with investors. I could map out all the feedback they've given me, and half of it would say one thing and the half would say the opposite thing.
Yeah.
So there's like a certain comfort that comes with knowing that, like, okay, no one knows what they're talking about. I'm just as qualified as anyone to have an opinion on this stuff.
Right.
And, you just have to focus on what you can control, like the strategy, the medium to long term, the execution. Like, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
And like our best day in the stock since the merger happened was a day we did nothing, and the stock was up 20%.
Yeah.
And one of the worst days we had was actually, we announced a refinancing that was actually very bullish for the stock and materially improved our balance sheet, and the stock sold off. And so it's like, everyone tells you, the first advice they give you when you become a public market CEO is, don't look at the stock price, ignore the stock price, just focus on the execution. It is so easy to say that. It is so much harder to do that.
Yeah.
But, with time, you get used to it. So I'm just 3 months in, I'm already starting to I feel much more used to it now than my first day on the job.
I'm picturing, like, sort of the pioneer who's going out, Lewis and Clark, going out west. There's no map. There's no roadmap of where to go. But because you're a public company now, you've got like a crowd behind you, and one half is saying, go left, the other half is saying, go right. And you're like, I could go anywhere. Like, there is no obvious path forward. It's a little bit of a chaotic thing to try and navigate.
Yeah, well, then it's just like, okay, well, I have to make the leadership has to make the decisions. It's like, well, I've been making the decisions the past 13 years. So like, I'm actually comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
You know, things that are different is like, okay, well, when you fuck up with a public company, it's public. So everybody knows. And everybody can comment on it. Everybody can make fun of you for it. Total Goo will take some screenshot of me and write some, tweet. We messed up so many things at BTC Inc. over the years. Think about how many disasters we've had.
You know, I have this saying for our company is we make every mistake, but we only make mistakes once.
Sometimes we make them twice.
Like if it's a really important lesson, we might do it a couple times, but we're quick learners.
We are quick learners. That is one thing.
Yeah.
We're survivors and we're quick learners. And it's not just us that's like that. The whole Bitcoin industry, if you've been around for a while, you have to have those characteristics.
No one has in Bitcoin succeeded for their entire existence. Everyone who is still in Bitcoin has survived for their entire existence.
Correct. And so, that's also something that I think is undervalued as a treasury company. When people are looking at treasury companies or they're looking at how our stocks performed in the past 3 months, and they want to make conclusions, and it's like, we've been doing this 13 years.
Yeah.
We're very good at surviving. We're very good at maneuvering how we need to thrive in any market conditions. And we'll do the same at Nakamoto. And somebody expressed it to me the other day. It's like, what you want as the CEO of a public company is for your involvement to bring a credibility premium to the company that you're working at. And, when the market doesn't know you, maybe you don't bring a credibility premium, maybe it's like credibility neutral. Mm-hmm. Right now, we may be trading at a credibility discount.
Yeah.
So there's actually a fantastic arbitrage opportunity there, because for those that actually know us and know what we've done and what we do, we should be trading at a credibility premium, So
one of the best performing hedge funds in the world, one of the best performing. Yeah.
Oh, not even one of the best performing.
Yeah.
Even after the treasury sell-off and our performance for the year more than halved, we were still the number one best performing fund in the world.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's how much we were crushing everyone else by.
Yeah. So you're in this seat now. You're marching through sort of the forest. What's the vision of where you want Nakamoto to end up? Right? Like, if you could say, if we hit this, we've arrived, like we have succeeded, at least in our first phase. What does that look like?
It's a tough question to answer, because our vision for Bitcoin is boundless. Like, until 100% of Starbucks coffees sold on Mars are paid for with Bitcoin, we haven't hit
total TAM.
The full potential of where we're going. And so you can't even buy a Starbucks coffee in the United States yet with Bitcoin, much less on Mars. So we got a long ways to go. And our team is young. I mean, I'm 35, Tyler's 34. We're gonna be running this company like,
I'm 30.
You're just turned 30, yeah.
Yeah, I'm over the hill, I'm 30 now. There's a prenatal.
Now you're an old man in this industry. So, we have 30 plus years, and maybe if technology gets better, we have 40, 50 years of like great years to go operate this company. We can build a Goliath in 50 years. So like, okay, where do I want to be when I die? If I were to borrow Warren Buffett's phrase, what do I want my obituary to say? It's that we built the world's biggest, most iconic Bitcoin company that every person on the planet has heard of. And we've created enormous wealth for the world and our shareholders, at least in the hundreds of billions. I'd be disappointed if it's not in that, especially with inflation, how it's going in 50 years. If it's not in the trillions of dollars, honestly, we failed. Yeah. So created trillions of dollars of wealth and propelled Bitcoin to becoming the reserve asset of humanity. So that's where I want us to get to in 50 years. And so there's going to be lots of iterations of this company. I mean, I think someone told me every successful company dies and is reborn at least 5 times over its journey. So we've had a couple of rebirths as a company already.
We have. Yeah.
I think Nakamoto is a major new era, and there'll be several new eras along the way from where we're at now. But we basically have what we've always wanted. I mean, we have a great operating company with great people that creates great products with unlimited capital and a mission and a vision that is bold and ambitious. And we kind of have all the tools we need to go make it happen. And now it's just kind of like the easy part, do it.
Yeah, just got to execute. Yeah. Well, it's a fun place to be too, when you like have this arm that builds the community, that's building the movement. And there's like, kind of Nakamoto's whole goal is just everyone come on board. It's like everyone join us as we try and create, the biggest, best Bitcoin company in the world.
I think I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking about it for opening remarks here at the conference. And when I think about like the underlying ethos of this company, it's always been built around, we're going to make this happen. We're going to make Bitcoin happen. You don't know about Bitcoin? Well, guess what? We've created this product. We're going to give it to you. We're going to make it as easy as possible for you to learn about Bitcoin and answer all your questions about Bitcoin so that you have no excuse not to be on the board with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You're a crypto company and Bitcoin's a big part of your market, but you don't really know how to support the Bitcoin industry or what products you want. Okay, we're going to build a Bitcoin conference. We're going to gather the entire industry, and we're going to make sure that the entire industry knows that where the money is in Bitcoin, and that you need to build products for Bitcoin, and you need to build utility for Bitcoin, and that's where you need to grow your business. And you have no excuse for not doing it now. When we created a hedge fund, it's like, okay, we're not just going to tell you to go sign up on Coinbase and let you not complete the process. Like, we're going to create a vehicle. We're going to put the materials in front of you. We're going to get you to sign the dotted line and wire over the money. We're going to buy the Bitcoin for you. And now you're along on the journey. And, now with Nakamoto, Bitcoin's now on the balance sheet of corporations, but we're not going to wait for you to put it on your own balance sheet. Like, we're going to go on offense again, and we're going to bring Bitcoin to the capital markets, and we're going to force every company to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and we're going to underwrite people putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and we're going to make it so simple that every corporation around the world wants Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and so simple that every investor around the world can get Bitcoin exposure with a single click, without even a single click, through just the indexes they're already in.
Yeah, I was gonna say passive flows are gonna be directed into Bitcoin.
So it's just like
we're hijacking the financial system.
Yeah, we're just hijacking the financial system. First, we hijack people's attention. Second, we hijack the industry. Then we hijacked investor capital. Now we're hijacking the capital markets. And next, we're gonna hijack the central banks. And we're going all the way until every central bank and every government and every corporation on this entire effing planet owns Bitcoin.
Simple as that.
Yeah, simple as that, yeah. But I guess, now I want to tirade, but so the ethos of Nakamoto is really a continuation of the underlying ethos of what we've been building the past 13 years, but now just applied in a different environment and market.
Yeah.
And in a bigger scale.
Yeah, and a level up. Well, that's amazing. Before we sort of wrap the conversation, I'm curious, you look around, we're at Bitcoin Amsterdam 2025.
Y'all pulled it off.
This has been a good conference.
No, it's been great.
Yeah.
Feedback has gotten us the best one yet.
Yeah. And, you get to kind of join these movement moments, right? These parts where you get a Schelling point, the community comes together. I tell people all the time, we leverage the heck out of these conferences. Our goal is not to throw a conference to throw a conference, right? It's to bring people together.
It's a beachhead.
So that we can move Bitcoin forward in some way.
Yeah, the Allied soldiers didn't land on Normandy for afternoon tea. It's like they had an agenda and they had a plan, and it was like the beachhead. And so these conferences are beachheads to spread not just Bitcoin awareness and adoption, but to inspire people to leave here and to go out into places that they live and evangelize and build and spread Bitcoin.
And sometimes to bring people here who have a lot of leverage in and of themselves, right? And so I guess, as you look forward to next year, the next 18 months really for Nakamoto, tell me about how you want to steer this company, this airship that you talked about, right? The aircraft carrier?
Aircraft carrier.
Sorry, not an airship.
It would blow an airship out of the fucking sky.
Yeah. No chance. How do you want to steer this aircraft carrier? And I guess maybe, to layer in one thing to that, you put out some tweets recently talking about, there could be troubles in the credit markets. Maybe we're on the brink of something big in the financial system. Bitcoin was built for these moments, right? how do you look at sort of the next 18 months, what you want to accomplish, what you're on the lookout for, what you see for Bitcoin? Take it in any direction you want.
Well, this is a complex topic. I won't get into like why I think we could be on the edge of a macro or broader market liquidity or credit crisis. But there's, just go Google search those terms. You'll find lots of, go ask ChatGPT. It'll give you lots of feedback about why. I think Bitcoin is still a very immature asset. How Bitcoin responds in a macro credit or a macro economic crisis today, I don't think it's how it will respond in the future. And I think we're still in a place where, in some ways, like the tail wags the dog, and the tail still is like the central banks and the fiat monetary system.
Well, you keep seeing like, even today in very small, like, the tariff issue with China, right? Or some sort of trade war. Bitcoin's the first to react. It's the first to recover, right? It still is, it's almost like where the market change is felt first, right?
Well, it's the freest market.
Yeah.
So you're going to see information be broadcast fastest from the market that is freest. It's a good phrase.
That's
a good phrase.
Just coin that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Copyright 2025. So yeah, I do think it's like a broader like canary in the coal mine, like indicator of what global liquidity. How I think about that from the perspective of Nakamoto right now. In the tweet you're referencing, I said I shorted a bank. I personally did that.
Yeah.
One day when we're big cheese ballers, we'll just take a little bit of Nakamoto's balance sheet. We'll go enter in like $1 billion short on some financial institutions. We'll let them know how it feels.
Yeah. Got a couple in mind?
Yeah, I do actually. But I think right now the way that I'm thinking about this is like, if you had pre-warning that FTX was going to blow up, and it was going to take down Genesis, and it was going to take down all of the collateral damage that blew up around it, what would you have done 6 months before it in order to safeguard and protect yourself from that type of event? Mm-hmm. That's kind of, rule number one is don't lose Bitcoin. So that's kind of like the wartime mindset that we bring when we see market conditions like this, is like, okay, who are our counterparties? Where is all of our Bitcoin? Who are all of our custodians? How are those custodians companies structured themselves, and what type of obligations and liabilities do they have?
Yeah.
There's all sorts of ways that you can like explain away your worries, like, we're using a tri-party bankruptcy remote account, and so we're safe. It's like, if you drill into the details, which like survival and like life and death all comes down to the details. There's really thriving and dying is just a little detail about like what your internal body temperature is,
Yeah.
So it's like if you're in a tri-party account that's bankruptcy remote, but the platform that's providing that solution goes bankrupt, you're still going to be part of that bankruptcy estate's bankruptcy process, and you have lost possession of your money for a very extended period of time, and you're probably going to have to pay a lot of legal bills to defend why your bankruptcy remote agreement holds up in the context of whatever shit show unfolded at your custodian. Probably it holds up, maybe not. I've seen plenty where they said it was bankruptcy remote, and then it turns out it wasn't.
Yeah.
So,
better to just not get in that situation.
Exactly.
In the first place.
So it's like, okay, well, who are the custodians? Can we split it up across more custodians? Does that actually help us? What banks are we using? How much cash do we have in each bank? Are we underneath our FDIC insured limits? If we're not, are we have money in money markets with different limits? Like, so just
there's a lot to think about.
Yeah, all the things that can go wrong. You have to anticipate them before they become relevant, because you're not able to react to them once they're relevant.
Right.
This is just like this has become ingrained into us because we've had to survive for so long.
Of course.
And if we didn't think like this, we would have been wiped out a while
ago. In Mt. Gox in 2013.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah. So I think that's the right mindset. I don't know if all the other treasury companies have that same mindset. I don't think they've seen as much shit as we've seen.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like a soldier in a war that's like been in war so long that now like I yearn for the trenches in the battlefield. Like I yearn for the smell of the flesh of soldiers dying on the battlefield or whatever.
Do you yearn for the bear market?
it makes me feel alive.
Yeah.
You know? And you know, one thing I have learned in this whole journey is like, there's as much money to be made in bear markets, maybe more than in bull markets. But because of our industry's bias for where we're going and our conviction in where we're going, everyone just closes their eyes and are blind to the opportunities of the bear market.
Yeah.
You know, I wish we could run an experiment of where we operated the company where during bull markets, we deployed no capital, and all our bull market periods were preparation for the bear markets, and we made all of our plays at the bear markets, and then we just hibernated for 4 years until the next bear market to go again.
I mean, we kind of did that this past cycle a little bit. If you think 2023,
I mean doing it intentionally.
Yeah. Well, 2023, we launched our international events, redeem GBTC. We do the Metaplanet play early 2024. I mean,
those things happen because we had this mindset.
Exactly.
So, it's cool, man. We've been on a cool journey.
We've been on a cool journey.
You know, I feel like people wouldn't even believe. I mean, all the stories, all the near-death experiences, all the things that had to happen to facilitate all of this coming together, to facilitate us getting Donald Trump in on Bitcoin, to, you know, lucking into Japanese hotel company that, you know, was teeny tiny little thing that became huge, to going public, to, I mean, dude, we've seen it all. We've seen it all.
It's been quite the journey. Well, so on that note, let's end on this. You know, we talked through like, there could be some rapids ahead, let's say. Do you think in 2026 we'll see the 4-year cycle continue and that will be a bear market? Or do you think that just like you're pioneering into uncharted waters, so too is Bitcoin? You know, are we in a different phase of Bitcoin's evolution now? Could 2026 be a bull market?
I'm a big believer in the 4-year cycle. I'm one of the first people who ever articulated the 4-year cycle, even theory. Okay, like,
you know, before you were known on Twitter, like your one of your claim to fames was you and Vinny Lingam going back and forth about like the 2017 bull market, and he was known at the time as like, you know, the
Oracle.
The Oracle, the Bitcoin Oracle. And he said, oh, Bitcoin's gonna hit like what, 5,000, and you were like, it's gonna hit 15,000, and he was like, you're crazy, right? And you were right, you know, like, so I'll give you credit, like you've been on the 4-year cycle for a while now. Nick Carey invented the term, as far as I'm aware, Bitcoin winter, and he told me that term, and then I repeated it a bunch, and and then from Bitcoin winter, the concept came the idea of the cycle. I'm a big believer of the cycle, and it makes sense, but I will say, just like from the front lines, and I'm so scared of saying this time is different, because they say that every time. Yeah.
But from where we're sitting, the market structure has changed. The market dynamics has changed. The market buyer and their behavior has changed. And so I do think that the 4-year cycle maybe isn't over, but it's changing. It's changing. Maybe it'll become a 16-year cycle or something. Maybe it'll be it'll elongate in some way, and maybe the bear market will elongate too. I don't know, but I do think that we're going to see new all-time highs this year. I think we're going to see new all-time highs next year. And I think we're probably going to see new all-time highs the year after that. Like, we're in a much more slow grind-up build than blow-off-the-top momentum trades like we've seen in the past. The flip side of that is that a lot of OGs really believe in the 4-year cycle.
And they've been moving around it, right? Like, they've been making, we're at November of what should be the year before the bear market.
I mean, there's been some OGs that have sold big slugs, but I think if you destroy the concept of the 4-year cycle, then you destroy the dominant prevailing mental model for understanding risk on, risk off. And if people don't have that guidepost of, are we in risk on or risk off, if they don't feel certainty whether we're in the bear or bull, then that's going to induce a lot of uncertainty. Mm-hmm. And when people are uncertain, they pull back. Mm-hmm. So I think the changing of the 4-year cycle injects a lot of risk and opportunity of, like, from that uncertainty, people will be more risk adverse, but whatever new mental model emerges from that, if we come to a place where, okay, we're no longer in a 4-year cycle, we're now in an 8-year cycle, or we're in whatever, Well, that would be incredibly bullish. Like if the market psychology changes, so like, okay, we're going to have another 5 years of a bull market. Bullish. It's really hard to say what's going to happen. The one thing that is universally true in my time in Bitcoin is that Bitcoin always finds ways to surprise you and to humble you. And whenever you think you have it all figured out, you don't. And that's why it's important to stay nimble and have the core tenets of your philosophy nailed down. But you have to react to the facts as they come to bear. And you can't react to some
hypothetical you make up in your head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've seen so many people ruined by that.
Yeah. You never want to be in a position where Bitcoin succeeds without you. You know, like where you're not along for the ride with it.
Correct. You never want to be in a position where you're all in on being right without making a bet deserving of being all in on. You know, like to be all in on Bitcoin, if that's your bet, that's a bet worth being all in on.
Yeah.
You know, if being all in on Bitcoin being up in the next 90 days, why?
Yeah.
You know, or in the next 24 months, why? So we're playing a long game, and we'll keep playing it.
Let's play it.
Up the high score.
Yeah. Well, David, before we wrap, any last minute advice to me as I take on CEO, from the old CEO to the new one?
Do everything that I say, not as I do, okay?
Sounds good. Been doing that for years. David, thanks so much.
Thank you, man. Ciao, people.